If you're in the market for a .22 LR rifle, it should be no surprise when the name Ruger comes to mind. This is due to the huge success of the Ruger 10/22 for over 50 years. With its proven track record in reliability and quality, the 10/22 sets the bar for .22 caliber rifles. Recently, Ruger has introduced their new line of American rifles, which came in various calibers and was largely successful. Building upon the success of the American line of rifles, Ruger combined the ingenuity of the 10/22 and introduced the Ruger American Rimfire, a bolt-action rimfire that utilizes the 10/22 rotary magazine. In this video, we will be stacking the two rifles against each other, comparing a wide variety of aspects between the two to help you decide which rifle better suits your needs. Starting off with the MSRP pricing, the Ruger American Rimfire is at $339, whereas the 10/22 is at $289. However, average retail pricing in stores is fairly close for the two rifles. For the Ruger 10/22, you can expect to pay around $230. For the American Rimfire, $265. Since there are so many variations of the 10/22, our testing will be using a base model 10/22 that closely resembles a base model Ruger American Rimfire. The American Rimfire in .22 LR comes in a standard and compact version. This particular model is the compact version with a barrel length of 18 inches with a 1/16 right-hand twist. This particular 10/22 is a carbine model with an 18.5-inch barrel and also has a 1/16 right-hand twist. The 10/22 features a rear folding sight that is adjustable for elevation, as well as a bead sight that is adjustable for windage up front. The American Rimfire wears the same folding diamond rear sight, but is fully adjustable both windage and elevation. The front sports a high vis front sight that is not adjustable. Both rifles are drilled and tapped for a scope mount, but the American Rimfire has a rimfire scope base built in. The 10/22 includes an additional scope rail that requires tools in the field to drop back to iron sights. The finish on the American Rimfire is a beautiful satin blue from receiver to barrel. On the 10/22, the receiver is satin black with a blued barrel. The weight of the American Rimfire compact model comes in just over 5 pounds at 5.38, whereas the 10/22 comes in at right at 5 pounds for the carbine model. Here is where the differences between the two rifles really start to show. For the base model carbine 10/22, the stock can vary between polymer and wood, with a fixed overall length of about 37 inches. Although this one has been modified, there are no sling mounts. The stock on the American Rimfire is only a polymer option with sling mounts, interchangeable rear that comes with a high-rise comb along with the standard comb, with an overall length of pull coming in at 35.5 inches. Because the rear is interchangeable, you can purchase the standard model rear piece, bringing your overall length of pull to 37.25 inches. The stock on the American Rimfire has a built-in integral block system that mounts to the receiver, giving the American Rimfire a free-floating barrel for added accuracy. Again, both rifles utilize Ruger's reliable rotary magazine, but the major difference between the two rifles is the operation. The 10/22 features a blowback design auto-loading the following rounds into the chamber with each squeeze of the trigger. The American Rimfire, however, is a bolt action requiring a manual cycle for each available round. The safety on the American Rimfire is located on the receiver tang, and on the 10/22, forward of the trigger housing. The trigger on the 10/22 is nothing to brag about, but a couple of minutes online will bring you to a wide variety of aftermarket trigger groups. The American Rimfire, on the other hand, comes from the factory with an adjustable marksman trigger from 3 to 5 pounds. With all of these features, one can only assume that the American Rimfire to be the more accurate rifle. Let's find out. We set up at 35 yards, 4 shots with 4 different types of ammo.
Boy, that is going to be some... That's how you know you have trust in your gun you're shooting. That is going to be like...
I'm going to laugh if you shoot it. Yeah, that's really close.
We'll start off with some 40 grain, Lead round nose, CCI standard velocity coming in at 1,070 feet per second. We'll let the 1022 go first for each test, making pretty short work of the CCI standard velocity. And now it's the American Rimfire's turn. Not to be outdone, it lays down a pretty good group with the CCI standard velocity as well.
Clear.
The CCI standard velocity seemed to group really well for both rifles. The second test will be Winchester 40 grain hyper velocity hollow point copper plated, coming in at 1,435 feet per second. Again, starting off with a 1022 and a much faster round, it fared okay with one flyer. Followed by the American Rimfire, showing slightly better accuracy. Both rifles seem to struggle just a little bit more with the hyper velocity. The image shown is flipped for editing purposes, but you can see there's not much of a difference between the two rifles so far. For the third test, we'll be using a 40 grain lead round nose Federal Lightning round traveling at 1,240 feet per second. Again, the 1022 starts the party with decent grouping, followed by the American Rimfire with slightly better results. You can see the results in the two rifles so far are not too far off, with the American Rimfire holding the lead ever so slightly. For the last test, we'll be using a 36 grain plated hollow point Remington Golden Bullet traveling at 1,280 feet per second. The 1022 did fairly well with this accuracy test. The American Rimfire, however, seemed to fall just short of winning the last round. As you can see, at 35 yards, the accuracy between the two rifles is fairly similar. So which rifle should you buy? Both are great shooters and loads of fun at the range, and both rifles will easily put small game on the table. If you're into the semi-auto, the 1022 is a perfect choice hands down. With a plethora of aftermarket availability, it'll keep you happy for a long time. Probably run you broke if you're not careful enough. If you're looking for an easy-going, steady shooter with upgrades right out of the box, not to mention the availability to cycle extremely quiet rounds with almost silenced decibels, the American Rimfire might be your rifle. No matter which rifle you choose, you just can't go wrong with a name like Ruger. If you enjoyed this video or it helped you out at all, feel free to give us a little like down there, subscribe, or comment with any questions you might have. And be sure to check back later on. We'll be putting these two rifles head to head again for some further out accuracy testing.
Clear.
Hee Hey, hey! Who's that girl? Who's that lady? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I don't know the rest of the dance. That's all I know.
Yeah, you ready? What are we at, 50 yards? Nice! 50 yards.